Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first Speaker Mind Forum of 2008-2009. You can see our logo up here. Speaker Mind Forum is a partnership education venture between Sunrise Optimist, University Hospital and Clinics, and of course, Hickman High School. We really operate with the idea that we have freedom of speech and the right to assemble, and that's what we're here to do tonight. The process from which we actually operate, we have a steering committee that brainstorms topics, and we also put out a box for you guys to put suggestions. We then survey about 800, 700, 800 students, and then we work on getting that particular situation, contacting the panelists, balancing the panel, and then creating publicity. So it was the will of Hickman students that we talk about this issue tonight, the emphasis movement and lowering the drinking age. So we really do want to recognize our steering committee. I'd like for them to stand up if they would, please. We really appreciate their hard work. Let's give them a round of applause. We operate under two very important principles. One comes from British common law. Qui tacit consented, silence implies consent. So we feel like we should air our opinions and views and not just accept whatever is going on around us in society. And then very importantly, the most important quotation attributed to Voltaire, though I disagree with what you say, I would defend to the death your right to say it. So we're here to learn about civil discourse and people disagreeing and learning about their perspectives. Not looking for consensus, but understanding how in civil society that this type of discussion is really essential. We would like to thank our panelists. Ms. Nieder is going to introduce them in just a moment. So at this time, I'd like to turn things over to Lisa Nieder, one of our teachers in the math department. And so I'd like to give her the mic at this time.
Thanks again. I'd like to welcome you as well to this event tonight. Okay, so now for our panelists. Starting on the left, we have Mr. Glenn Nielsen. He is state chairman for the Missouri Libertarian Party. Next to him, we have Wes Upchurch. He is the District 9 coordinator for Missouri 18 to Drink. In the middle, we have Bob Hanson. He is a special professor of leadership studies and director of counseling and health at Westminster College. Next, we have Mike Page. He is a criminal defense attorney in Johnson County, Kansas, and also a member of MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And last but not least, we have Mr. Ed Moses. He is over 41 years in law enforcement, serving as a St. Louis City police officer, a military policeman, and also with the Highway Patrol. Next, we'd like to go ahead and let each of you take about 5 minutes or less and just make some opening remarks if you'd like, starting with Mr. Hanson in the middle.
Are we on here? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this. A lot of you may not know about the Amethyst Initiative. This is when, just in June this year, about 120 college presidents got together and said, we need to reopen this discussion that underage drinking is still a problem on our campuses. And it's not a dead issue. We need to reopen it. And so, a lot of people feel like what they're saying is that these college presidents are saying we need to lower it. The truth is, what they're saying is we need to do exactly what you're doing right here. We need to have a community discussion about it. Out of the discussion, hopefully will come some new ideas, some new policies. From their perspective, again, they're saying that it's the norm on college campuses for students under 21 to drink. It's not working. The policies we have are not working. I probably come at this a little bit different. I've been working at Mizzou for 13 years. I've been at Westminster College in Fulton for 20 years. So I've worked with young adults for over 30 years now. I've raised two. I have two that are in their mid-20s now. My perspective is, if I can clearly say this, I am not for the 21-year-old minimum drinking age. But I'm not for an 18-year-old minimum drinking age either. I think as soon as you tie drinking to a chronological age, you have problems. For example, think we all know people who are above the minimum age. I can think of one person in particular right now that I know who's 25 years old, has had 2 DUIs, has lost multiple jobs because of alcohol, has had a violent history. Alcohol's played a part. And yet he can go into any store that sells liquor, show his ID, and he's allowed to have alcohol. On the other hand, some of you out there, some of the students that I know that are underage, let's say as long as 18, who has over the years demonstrated unbelievable maturity, great judgment, is a good decision maker, has never done anything with alcohol that is irresponsible, and yet they can go to that same grocery store, liquor store, and they'll be denied access to alcohol because they're not 21. I think as soon as you draw a line and say those over that age and above can drink, and those under the age can't drink, I think you have a fairness problem. One of the things I want to comment on is whether you think that access to consumption of alcohol is a right or is it a privilege? If it's a right, and you think everybody has that right and nobody has to do anything to earn it, my perspective is that it's a privilege. Like a lot of things in our society, we have to earn that right, or earn that privilege. We have to do some things to show that we are responsible. So, I think, for example, an 18-year-old, you're given the opportunity to demonstrate maturity and judgment, can have the opportunity to access alcohol. However, with privilege comes the responsibility to take care of that, to act responsibly. So if a student who, no matter what age, not even a student, an individual, no matter what age, has alcohol, if they abuse that, then they should lose that privilege. Take driving, for example. You know, we say that there's a minimum age of 16 or so before you can drive. Well, it doesn't mean that everybody has the right to get into the car and drive. You've got to do some things. You've got to take a test. You've got to sit in the driver's seat with somebody else and demonstrate that you can do it well. Then once you're driving, if you start messing up, if you have too many accidents, if you have speeding tickets, then you lose your right. Now, you might be able to earn it back again, but you lose your right. Going to college. College is a privilege. Not everybody has the right just to enter college. You have to earn it. You earn it by making good grades, by doing good work, by getting good recommendations, by doing well on a test, the entrance test. So it's a privilege to have the opportunity to go to college. Even military service. A lot of people say, you know, how come some people can go out and fight and die for the country, but they can't buy a beer? Well, even in the military, not everybody makes it into the military. You know, there's basic training. A lot of people don't make that. Some people aren't able to enlist because they don't have the physical capability or the mental or emotional stability. So, I want to get this conversation started in this way. I want to say that if you use chronological age as your cutoff, you have some inherent problems with fairness. That what we need to be looking at is the ability to make good decisions, past demonstration of responsible behavior, and a level of maturity. Now, how we get to that can be a challenge. But I'd like for us as a community, as a nation, to grapple with that. Because what we're doing right now is not working. So, those are my 2 cents.